We are back, everybody, to film another Will I Buy video. Woo! If you were wearing earbuds, I'm so sorry for busting your eardrums. Or, I don't know, making your ears bleed. Today's gonna be another Will I Buy It video, and if you are coming back, not for the first time, if you are a regular viewer, we were finally able to get the lighting right, so I'm able to film in my very own bedrooms. So happy about that, because if you were here for last week's video and the week before that, you know that we were having lighting issues, so I literally had to move to different parts of my house to film the Will I Buy It video because I was filming so late in the day because I couldn't get my business together. But hopefully today will be better because we're filming right back in this room, and I do think that experience sort of like gave me the desire to film in different parts of my house. So I do think that you guys will be seeing a lot more of that in the future, but this is kind of like my default area. I just like filming in here because it's private. I'm able to sort of like do my own thing, and this is actually a place in the house where it's a little bit sort of like more secluded, so no one else can hear me and I can be a little bit louder if I want to. But that's a lot of jibber jabbering, so let's just get into what you guys came here for, which is for this Will I Buy It video. I have a lot of things to talk about this week. There have been a lot of launches. I do have strong opinions on some of these launches, and I hope that you enjoy this video. Let's just get started with the very first thing that I want to talk to you guys about today, which is a launch from Ace Beauté. I believe that's how you pronounce it, Ace Beauté. You guys know I can't pronounce anything if my life depended on it. It's not a thing that I can do. But this is a new eyeshadow palette. They're calling the Flare palette, and it's going to retail for $39. They say $38.99. Ha! We know you really mean $40, you know. But this is 15 shades, and these are what the shades look like. I like how they are including like several different variations of different colors. Like, for example, for the green, you actually have 2 shades. For the yellow, you actually have like a very like sort of like a lime, sort of like a super like highlighter almost kind of looking yellow, and then you have like a more golden yellow, so you do have like multiple options. I really like this color story a lot. I think that I'm very much attracted to this palette. I don't know if I'll end up getting it or not, but I definitely am putting this palette, definitely putting this palette on my wish list because it really is so beautiful. And I actually have never tried anything from Ace Beauté. I really would love to give them a shot. So maybe you'll be seeing this palette on my channel. We shall see. But moving on, Zara is coming out with some makeup, and it seems they have some lip products in this launch right here. So they have 9 matte liquid lipsticks and then 8 velvety matte lipsticks, which seem to be more traditional. So I do want to say that for quite some time, I have tried to be very cognizant of the fact that big brands such as Zara, H&M, Forever 21, and many, many more have really awful practices whenever it comes to their clothing production. And Zara is first and foremost a fashion brand. They're not a makeup company, they're fashion. Like, that's what they're known for. They're known for coming out with clothing. And what's the thing is, there is a huge discrepancy in the cost of producing clothing versus how much is being sold for. So that's how they make an enormous amount of profit, by basically making sure that the cost of producing their clothing is super low, okay? And guess who gets paid pennies for producing clothing items for these big brands? Human workers. Like, human laborers are basically working very long hours with little opportunity for education in some far off underdeveloped country for pennies. and that is the only job that is available to them, and as a result they have no opportunity for advancement, no opportunity for bettering their lives for themselves or for their families. And it's just very sad to me, which is why I can definitely say that most of the clothing that I own and wear today are clothes that I get secondhand or from sustainable sources. And whenever I do go out and get something from these big brands, it's usually just one item that I really, really need. The reason why I'm going on this big tangent, and I'm sorry if you're already bored of this, but this is just something that I really think that is a big pressing issue. I will put links down below if you're willing to educate yourself. But for me, whenever I see a big makeup brand like Zara or H&M or I guess Topshop come out with makeup lines, I mean, I guess at a previous date I could have been like very interested in getting from in buying makeup from these brands, but now, I mean, I'm just looking at this and I have absolutely no interest in getting this makeup, because if these makeup brands are so just callous in their treatment of workers for their fashion part of the brand, what's to stop them from just basically using similar practices for the makeup side of things? And I definitely think that sustainability and workers' rights, it's something that's talked about a lot when it comes to like the fashion side of things, but we don't necessarily hear a lot of the same attention or the same uproar when it comes to sustainability in makeup, which I definitely think is something that we should be thinking more about, and that's why I'm not necessarily at all interested in getting anything from this line. ColourPop is again collaborating with Kathleen Lights. That is just their thing. They're always collaborating with each other, and it's just like something that we've already seen so many times before, but this is a new ColourPop collaboration with Kathleen Lights for the holidays 2018, and this is called the Twinkling Lights collection. They have several glosses, and then they have an ultra satin lip and an ultra matte lip. I really do love that red lip. I kind of like have my eye on that one. But then the other items include some Super Shock shadows, and they actually have a quad of those, and that all is basically on the screen beside me right now. So I personally am not necessarily interested in the eyeshadows whatsoever. I just think that they're super basic, and I personally am not like too interested in these, but I really do love that red lip. I'm always on the hunt for a beautiful red lip, and I might pick that up, but I'm not sure because it is limited edition, so I guess that kind of like turns me off of it. So yeah, I'm probably not gonna get it, but I do like that red. Then there's a sneak peek from Physicians Formula. They're coming out with some new items for spring 2019, which will include a sculpting bronzer, a selection of blushes, a mascara, powder, eyeshadow quads, and some eye boosters. And I don't know what eye boosters are. Let me scroll. Liners? I'm not sure because like these photos are not very clear, but it seems to be that they're really upping the diversity within their shade range, because this bronzer is being swatched on someone with a deeper skin tone. It appears to be swatched on someone with a deeper skin tone, and it really looks like they really deepened the selection of shades for this bronzer, which I'm very happy about because I have said several times how much I love the butter bronzer from Physicians Formula. I'm actually wearing it today. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite bronzers. It's probably my most favorite bronzers, but I have mentioned several times that I wish that they would come out with like more shades, and they seem to be doing that, which of course is quite nice. I don't think that I'll be getting anything from this collection just because nothing is really catching my attention, but I do want to commend them on that. So this is another collaboration with Olivia Jade and Sephora collection. Now, I have no idea who Olivia Jade is. This seems like it's a bronzing and illuminating palette. They have 5 highlighting shades and 1 matte bronzing shade. I don't know if that makes much sense to me. Like, why have so many highlighting shades and only like 1 matte bronzing shade? But I guess if you are someone whose skin tone will work for this type of palette, you might enjoy this. I, however, am gonna give this a pass. So let's talk about some new Wet n Wild launches. Now, they're coming out with some new bronzers and new blushes, and I love Wet n Wild. They have some really great stuff. Some items, of course, I have not liked, but I do love their blushes, and they seem to be coming out with some more shades. And then they also have some bronzers, which I have not tried before. I really want to give these bronzers a try. So if I see them in store, I probably will consider picking them up because I really want to try these bronzers. So I am going to be keeping an eye out for this one. Then I want to talk about this huge launch. Well, not huge, but a lot of people have been talking about this launch from ColourPop. They have like some new pressed single eyeshadows. They're so beautiful. I do want to say that I'm quite tempted to get these shadows. I'm just probably not though. Like, I don't think I will be getting those. I think ColourPop is one of those brands that I really do enjoy a lot, and they're always coming out with like new and interesting things. And even though sometimes I am more interested in certain things than other things, like I definitely think that ColourPop is just, it hits that sweet spot for me. And I'm always interested in buying their items, and I actually do have a lot of ColourPop items in my collection already, but it seems that so many times I see something on the ColourPop website and I'm just like instantly intrigued and I'm instantly like tempted to snatch it up. But see, here's the thing. I think that ColourPop is one of those brands that I feel like I should step back from. I think that there's so many brands out there that I just buy a lot from, and I think that since I do have a limited budget when it comes to makeup, that I should be looking at other brands, at other up-and-coming indie brands that could really use more support and really have amazing products, because this is really pretty eyeshadow. Don't get me wrong, I think it's beautiful, but do I think that these are the only eyeshadows on the market that are beautiful, that are stunning? No, I did not, and I think that there's so many eyeshadows that I could be trying. So I think that I do want to backpedal, and I don't think I'll be getting any of these shadows simply because I really want to try out some other brands instead of just ColourPop, because I feel like ColourPop already has my heart when it comes to so many products, and I think that it's time to just spread myself around a little bit and see what else is out there. This is a sneak peek from Wander Beauty's new Wondrous Rush palette, and it's launching in 2019. Now, it's inspired by skyscrapers and city lights because nothing compares to the rush of the big city. I do think that this is an interesting palette, and I think that if you're a neutral lover, you might really like this because these are not necessarily shades that you see in every single palette, meaning you are getting your money's worth, in my opinion, if you're buying this palette and if you really think you're going to use it. However, I can definitely say that these are colors that I think are quite tame for me. Whenever I feel like putting on makeup, I always want to go all out. I never want to use these kinds of shades. And when I look at this palette, I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe at some point I might be interested in using shades similar to this, but I do think that I can find dupes for pretty much every single shade in this palette in my collection already. So therefore, I really can't justify spending any amount of money, not even like drugstore money, on this palette right here, because I already have duplicates of this in my collection, and I probably won't end up using this palette if I ever did get it, which would probably never happen anyway. Then I want to talk about another Physicians Formula launch. I know I'm all over the place, but this is their new I can't speak, butter lip creams, and they have SPF 15 and they have 15 shades, and they're going to go for $7.95. And I'm actually tempted. I would like to see reviews on these items before I actually make any kind of purchase, but I definitely am tempted. These look so pretty. I like the shades, and I might get one or two. Let's move on to e.l.f. Okay, e.l.f. is a brand that I really do want to try more of because they have some nice stuff, and I actually haven't gotten anything from e.l.f. in a very long time, and I used to be an e.l.f. fanatic. I used to love e.l.f. and I still do love e.l.f. I haven't tried a lot of their new stuff. And this is a collection of decades eyeshadow palettes. And the top palette is inspired by the 70s, the middle is inspired by the 80s, and then the bottom is inspired by the 90s. Love the concept, love the idea. Can't say that I'm interested in the palettes themselves though. I just think that not only can I find dupes to pretty much every single color in this palette, I also think that these are not colors that I would necessarily wear on my eyes. I mean, I'd probably just wear that blue and that's it. Maybe that green, but that's it. So like, I don't think that I would be getting like my fair use out of this palette if I did choose to buy it. So this is a pass. We saw a sneak peek of it last week, and Huda Beauty just released the full product, and she actually did a video on her channel which showed in detail like her thought process behind creating this and the shades themselves and how you apply them. So I was able to find out a lot of information about this product. These are melted shadows, okay, and they're supposed to be matte and metal finishes. Now, I admit when I first saw this, I was kind of like, how is this innovative in any way? How is this a new thing? But I saw the video and it seems that you literally just put the shadows, like just take the applicator and just dot the shadow where you want on your eyelid, and then you can take a brush and just blend it out, and the finished result appears to look like a powder eyeshadow effortlessly blended out on your eyelid. Now, this is a concept that I found incredibly interesting and I was very much intrigued. However, the shade range is not something that really lights up my fireworks right here. It doesn't really look too colorful. The only colorful shade that I see is that purple and maybe like that deep red color, and that's pretty much it. And honestly, if I'm gonna get like a metallic like looking liquid eyeshadow, I want it to be a very vibrant color. I'm not necessarily interested in any of these shades. She did mention in the video that she's going to be coming out with more shades in the future, which I think that I'll be a lot more interested in those shades, because it seems that usually makeup brands, they like to come out with neutral shades to sort of test the waters first, and then they like to come out with some more colorful shades later on, which I hope is the case with this, because I love the concept. I just don't like the colors. So this is a pass for me for now. This is a launch from Give Me Glow Cosmetics. They're coming out with this Christmas morning palette. I saw this and I was instantly intrigued. However, I don't think I'll be getting this myself because it is so Christmas themed and it seems like a very limited edition kind of palette. It seems like a palette that you could honestly only use around Christmas time, and whenever I'm getting makeup, I don't want to get something that I can only use at a specific point. You know, I want to get something that I can use year round, so I can't really see this working for me personally, but I love the colors, I love the idea, I love how they have several shades of red, of green. I think that this is such a cute spin on the typical Christmas theme, but it's so creative and it's so nice, and the swatches look absolutely phenomenal. This is another item from an indie brand which really caught my attention. This is from the brand Just Peachy Cosmetics, and it's called the new Juicy Fruit Eyeshadow Palette. And I saw this and I was instantly intrigued, and I might actually end up getting this because this is so pretty, it's so bright, they have some really nice colors in here. So many of these colors really do appeal to me, so I might end up getting this myself. Not sure yet, might change my mind, but I am kind of interested in this palette. This is a huge palette right here. This is from Beauty Creations Cosmetics, and it's a doozy. It's a huge one. It's a big one, and it's a monster. It is so huge. Okay, see, here's the thing. I used to be like someone that's like, big palettes. I love big palettes. I love lots of eyeshadow. I love all the variety. I still do, okay? I still do. However, I have noticed that with my larger palettes, I do have to keep them in like a separate drawer because my eyeshadow palettes just don't fit all in one drawer anymore. Like it's just not possible, you know, like it's just not possible for all my eyeshadow palettes to fit in one drawer. So I pretty much have my eyeshadow palettes split up between two drawers. I have like a smaller eyeshadow palette drawer, and then I have like the huge eyeshadow palette drawer. And my huge eyeshadow palette drawer is filling up rather quickly, and I think that if I'm getting anything to add to that drawer, it better be guaranteed really amazing quality, and all the shades in that palette must be shades that I would love to use on me, and if not on me, then on other people that I may or may not be doing makeup on. And this palette does not make that cut. This is another launch from the brand called Cosmetics. Now, the brand has come out with another eyeshadow palette that was very similar to this palette in format, but was comprised of colors that appear to be a lot lighter. This is a different version of that palette, and this is called Volume 2. They have 8 shades, and I am not interested in this palette at all. I just think that some of the shades in this palette are really pretty, okay? They're really nice. However, do I like every single shade in this palette? No, I do not, okay? I have dupes for pretty much every single shade in this palette already. So even though I'm really tempted by that yellow, is it enough for me to get the entire palette? No, it's not. Then I want to talk about this pressed pigment palette from Leo Lashes. Now, it's available for pre-order for $20 if you are interested. I happen to really kind of like this color story a lot. I love how they have like several shades of different colors, which I think that a lot of other brands are doing, which is nice to see. It's nice to see variation in shades. It's nice to see more than just one shade of each and every single color of the rainbow in a palette. Kind of like what Angelica Nifis likes to say, rainbow palettes. It's nice to see something that's other than rainbow palettes. And this is something that I would consider still a rainbow palette, but a little bit different in the sense that they actually have several variations of each and every color in this palette, which I really do think is a terrific idea. So this is honestly something that I might consider getting my hands on. I really do like the look of this palette a lot. So if I'm still thinking about this within like a few weeks, I might order it. However, I'm just gonna like hold off on it for now. Okay, so this is something that I saw and I was really keen on talking about. So if you are part of like the makeup indie lovers community, you probably have already heard of the Menagerie Cosmetics Feral palette, and I personally was not too interested in getting that palette at all. This is what the original palette looked like, and see, the top row, it's a very neutral row, and personally I think that was one of the reasons I was kind of turned off on the palette. I really wasn't interested in getting it because of that very boring looking top row, because that is 30% of the palette pretty much. The owner of the brand actually came out and said that they're doing an updated version of the Menagerie Cosmetics Feral palette by switching out 2 of those shades for 2 different shades, which will include a teal shade and a duochrome metallic rose taupe shade. I love that. I am not sure if I can find a full picture of the updated palette at the moment, but if I do find it while I'm editing, I'll put it in the sort of video right here so you can see what I mean. I love this color story so much. I love this updated color story. It makes the palette look so much better. I feel like I am definitely going to consider getting this palette because of those changes. I think it would have been fantastic if this had been the original palette, but still, I am so much more interested in getting the Menagerie Feral palette right now than I was before. So much more interested. There's a green eyeshadow palette that is comprised of really beautiful variations of the color green, and it's from this brand called MB Boutique, and it's available for $45. Then, okay, they also have another version of this palette that's called the New Love eyeshadow palette that is comprised of various shades of pink and red that is available for the same price. And then lastly, they have a duochrome eyeshadow palette that is the same format, same price, but these are a selection of duochrome shades. Now, I am super intrigued. I love the green palette especially. Oh my gosh, I might be putting it on my wish list. I might, okay? It is so pretty. And I think that they have some pressed glitters in here, which I really don't mind. A lot of people don't like pressed glitters, but it appears in the photo that some of these colors are pressed glitters. So I don't know, I might be getting this palette because like these are so beautiful. Like these shades are amazing. Like they look so pretty. So I just saw this and I'm really intrigued. So my friends, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this week's installment of the series Will I Buy It? I hope that it was entertaining and fun to watch for you guys. Let me know, what are the products from this week that you are interested in? Are there any ones that you're not interested in? Do you agree or disagree with my comments? Let me know your thoughts down below. I am back to answering comments on a regular basis. I'm so happy about that because the last few weeks have honestly been kind of stressful, honestly, and I was kind of like trying to like keep my life together and not have a freak out. So that's why I kind of like had to take a back seat when it came to just interacting in general on social media, and that included YouTube. So I'm very happy to say that I am significantly less stressed about life right now, and I am back to answering comments. So leave me a comment down below, tell me what you thought about this video, and I will reply to everything as I always do. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye guys.